What is up guys, Joe here, welcome back to my channel, and today we have episode 16 of the Trek-Segafredo career here on PCM 2019, and this episode is actually going to differ slightly from all of the previous episodes so far actually. This is a post commentary. I think this is the first time I've done this, recorded all the races. I just wanted to get ahead of myself, try and record some races and try something new. So let me know what you think about this. This is also the first commentary I've done for a very long time. The Amgen Tour of California I recorded about 6 weeks ago. I given myself December off. I was feeling quite burnt out with YouTube, but now really happy to be back in the swing of things, uploading videos, and I've got some exciting stuff coming for you guys. But now we have the build up to the Tour de France, and that starts with the Criterium du Dauphiné, of course. And so leading our team for the race, we of course have the Australian Richie Porte. He's also our leader for the Tour de France, so really important we build him up nicely to a good level where he can attack the Tour de France in peak condition, and hopefully that starts with a strong performance in this race. Helping him out today in this race we have Nicholas A, we have Stettner, we also have Julien Bernard. Quite a lot of these riders will be in the Tour de France. We also have Tom Scoynes, who's a bit of a breakaway hunter, bit of a stage hunter. As well as then we have Ed Vertoons for the sprints, also Koen de Kort as a domestique. But early on you can see this first stage is very hilly. I saw Groenewegen had been dropped, but now into the final 5 kilometers. Laurens de Plus, Sagan and Matthews are on the attack. They're trying to break away from the peloton. Tom Scoynes doing a good job trying to bring them in for Ed Vertoons so he can sprint for the stage though. And so we've set Richie Porte to automatic. We're going to try and concentrate on Ed Vertoons. That group have now been brought in. Scoynes leading teams towards the front of the peloton. We're in a great position coming into the final kilometre. It's slightly uphill. Sagan is coming, so is Matthews. But Ed Vertoons resists and he wins stage 1 of the Dauphiné. He will wear the yellow jersey going into stage 2. And so taking a look at stage 2, it is very hilly as you can see. Jakob Fuglsang is the favourite on the day. Lots of hills early on in this race. You have to be really careful if you're a GC contender. You don't want to lose it before the race has even started. And you can see Ed Vertoons on a +5 day today in the yellow jersey. Maybe he could even resist over all these hills and challenge for the stage yet again. We've got Porte making sure he's staying in the peloton with about 20k to go, and you can see we peak this big hill. It's fairly flat, there's a few short hills, but it's mostly flat now in the run-in, and you can see the peloton has now split just 23 riders with Scoynes on the front, and this is a fairly big gap to the riders behind. So hopefully we can maintain this gap towards the finish line. As we cut forward to the final 8 kilometers of the stage, Jakob Fuglsang is on the attack. He's feeling strong, and you can see a lot of GC contenders are now worried. We will now react with Richie Porte whilst trying to keep Ed Vertoons in a good position. And again, Barguil attacks Nibali as well. We will follow with Richie Porte. We don't want any of these guys gaining time today. So we will sit on Vincenzo Nibali's wheel, and we can take advantage of not being a big favourite. But you can see now we've cut forward to the final kilometres. It's a group of 4 going for the line. 9 men are just behind. Ed Vertoons has sadly not made it in the front group. Porte goes for the stage though. It's a very similar finish, but Simon Yates, the Brit, wins the stage. But Richie Porte, a very strong performance in 2nd place, and we get 6 bonus seconds with him. A real shame for Ed Vertoons. He couldn't compete for the stage win yet again. Would have really suited him. He did so well to stay over all those hills today. And he didn't get the chance in the end, but anyhow, a very good stage for the team. Richie Porte, of course, now in a very good position in the GC. But now we move on to stage 3, and you can see a very flat one. We're going to cut straight towards the final sprint to the final few kilometers. We've got Scoynes who will lead out Ed Vertoons today. A lot of riders have gone early. We're going to try and react early to try and bring them in. Scoynes sprints, and now Ed Vertoons comes past Dylan Groenewegen. Sagan coming on the right. Can we resist? But Edvald Boasson Hagen comes through the middle. What a sprint by the big Norwegian. That's probably Dimension Data's best result and probably their only win of the season. Really struggling in real life last year. They probably will do better now as Team NTT, you can hope so anyhow. But we've now moved on to stage 4 and a time trial. I'll quickly show you the finishes because no one wants to sit through an entire time trial. You can see Roglic takes the stage, beating Froome and Yates. Richie Porte finishes 10th on the day, and we're now in 9th in the GC. 1 minute down on Primoz Roglic. It's a big gap already, but we're still there or thereabouts, so it's not too bad for Richie Porte. So now we cut forward to stage 5. We were caught behind very briefly, as you could see there in the crosswinds. We've tried to move Toons and Porte towards the front with Scoins into the final kilometres. Toons gets dropped from Scoins' wheel, who's blocked off slightly there, and it's a very rogue finish here. There's Jumbo-Visma going early. I think there's Sagan to our right. You can see Groeneweggen's in a very good position up the road. Groeneweggen is ahead of the rest of the pack. Sagan comes through though on the right hand side, and Peter Sagan wins stage 5 of the Dauphiné, just beating Matthews and Groeneweggen. Sadly, Toons couldn't repeat his great performances so far in the race. So now we cut forward to stage 6 out of 8 already this race. And you can see we do have the first high mountain stage of the race, and we have just 24 riders left in the peloton at this point. Been such a fast day. Dan Martin's gone, Wout van Aert seems to be struggling, and you can see we have now reached the final mountain with Richie Porte. 20 riders in the group, very, very select already, and we've hardly even started the real climbing, and we're just going to try and use Tom Scoins for as long as possible as Jakob Fuglsang attacks off the front. We're not going to react. I mean, we're far from the best or far from one of the true favourites in this race, and we wait for everyone to react, but Jakob Fuglsang, he's just ridden away from these guys. Everyone's domestique seemed to be dead, so we decide a few kilometres later to try and use Tom Scoins to try and put the pressure on the rest of the guys. You can see the gap Jakob Fuglsang has with just 3k towards the top of this climb. We're going to try and use Tom Scoins to the best of his abilities, and then we're going to try and attack with Richie Porte. 14 riders still in this group. Scoins is done. Richie Porte attacks with 10k to go, just 2 kilometres to go in the climb though, and you can see we've already got big gap to that group, and we're going to try and hunt down Jakob Fuglsang up the road. However, if you take a look at the favourites group, they just do not react to Richie Porte. I mean, we've extended a massive gap to them, about a minute and a half already, as you can see, and we're still a minute and a half behind Jakob Fuglsang as we crest the top of the mountain. Second place on the road. It's been a really good performance. We've managed our energy very nicely, I think, but Jakob Fuglsang, a different league today. We could have tried to follow him, but I think we'd have died, and maybe some more riders would have reacted. But Jakob Fuglsang takes the stage win, and look at the gap he has back to Richie Porte. We're not even in the final kilometre. We sprint now into the final kilometre with Richie Porte, and you can see we're going to lose a lot of time to Jakob Fuglsang, but gain a massive amount of time to all the other GC favourites. Seri is next on the road. He's miles behind. We've got another 40 seconds back to the real GC favourites, and Scoins is still in this group, which shows the lack of pace. I just don't know why the other GC favourites didn't react. But to be fair, we're not complaining. Richie Porte gains a massive 2 minutes on most of the other GC favourites, and he's now in second in the GC. Jakob Fuglsang with 2 minutes though on Richie Porte. So next up we have the penultimate stage of the race, and it is the Queen stage. We have 4 mountains ending on the biggest of the lot. That's about 20 kilometres long, I think. You can see on the right now, 18.8 kilometres, average of 7% gradient. We've cut to the final 12 kilometres. We're easing up as Scoins is pretty much done protecting Porte, and Chris Froome comes towards the front. He's working for Egan Bernal, I think, this race, purely as a domestique. And you can see Fuglsang in that yellow jersey for Astana. We do have some attacks now though. Carapaz attacks, followed by Pinot. Bernal, Fuglsang follows, and we're not feeling too good with Richie Porte. You can see 7k to go. We're really struggling to stay with these guys, so I just don't react. You can see a few guys like Bookman, Quintana, Martin, Barguil. They've been dropped with us. We seem to be okay, and we're making our way back towards the group, but Carapaz kicks again, and we're going to lose touch. They're going to ride away from us here. And so with about 4k to go, Simon Yates is the next to react. He's going to try and make his way up to the Ecuadorian Richard Carapaz. We're still in this group of 6. Kemna has been dropped. A lot of the guys in this group are struggling though. We're going to leave it up to Chris Froome and Bookman, who seems to be pacing. We still have a little bit of red as Roglic has been dropped there. Carapaz and Yates look like they will contest the stage coming into the final kilometre, and Richard Carapaz outsprints the Brits. He takes the high mountain stage, the Queen stage of the Dauphiné. Yates second, Nibali was third. I think Fuglsang protected his yellow jersey pretty well. He did what he had to do. We're going to be dropped by, I think, Quintana and Froome at the very end. We're going to lose a big chunk of time to Carapaz, Yates and Fuglsang. But we do have that big buffer to them, remember. So do we keep our place on the podium? Yes, we do. We go to third place, just ahead of Nibali and behind Simon Yates. And so we now move on to the final stage of the race. It is hilly, so the GC could change potentially, but I think Richie Porte perhaps has his podium safe. But you can see I put Scoynes and Julian Bernard in the breakaway in this one. 23 riders, some very strong riders in this one as well. Martin, Micah, just to name a few. I wanted to try Scoynes in the break because I think this one may go to the end, and he's our best stage hunter for sure. So you can see the breakaway, 11 riders at the front. Scoynes is one of them, but I have had to wait for Richie Porte with Julian Bernard as we approach the final of the stage with 6k to go. The peloton is 22 riders. Scoynes is still out front in the breakaway, 11 riders in that group. I don't think he's quite strong enough as there are now attacks in the peloton. Vincenzo Nibali is attacking, and remember, he's fourth in the GC. He's the man to watch if we want to hold on to our place on the podium. I think Fuglsang has this all but wrapped up, but now 2k to go. We're just reaching the top of this climb. Kalmajan has attacked for direct energy in the breakaway. He's going for the stage as Roglic already dropping off the back of that group. Kalmajan would be brought in, and Tony Galopan takes the stage win ahead of Quintana and Micah. And you can see Porte done a great job to bring these guys back in. Nibali is just there to our left. So it looks like our place on the podium is safe. I think we're going to hold on to it here with Richie Porte. Nibali drops off, and you can see we're going to finish with the group of favourites there or thereabouts. Fuglsang extends his gap a bit more, along with Egan Bernal. We'll lose maybe 10 seconds to them, but we finish with Yates and Nibali, which means we'll keep our third position in the GC. And so there you have it, guys. The Dauphiné is done. A strong 8th place for Tom Scoynes. Sadly, we weren't quite strong enough to attack away from those guys in the breakaway. And in the GC, Richie Porte, 3rd place on the podium. A great result for the Australian, I feel. Fuglsang absolutely ran away with it. That stage 6, I think it was. He just rode away from everyone in the race. 3 minutes clear of anyone else pretty much. But we can be happy with our 3rd place with Richie Porte. A great start to our Tour de France build-up. And so I'm going to do one more short race for you guys today, the Baloise Belgium Tour. A very fun race, I think. We simmed the first stage. It was just a time trial. Our guys were nowhere near. And you can see stage 2 is a flat stage. Mathieu van der Poel is the big shot in the race. We also have Christophe Laporte, but we bring Matteo Moschetti, the big Italian. He'll be our leader for the race and in these sprints, hoping to pick up some stage victory. So in to the final 2 kilometres we go. Alex Kirsch, a very strong lead-out man, will do his best for the Italian, putting him in a great position here. Into the final kilometre we go. Moschetti versus Van der Poel on our left, but Van der Poel too strong. He takes the win, denying Matteo Moschetti. Cavendish was actually 3rd there for Dimension Data, and it's a 2nd place for us behind the big Dutchman. So next, on to stage 3 of the race. We do have this short but tough cobbled sector right here. And I'm actually going to try a little attack with Moschetti. All our guys were dead, so I thought we may as well try something to make it more reduced. We're followed by Vendrame, Van der Poel and Hansen, who's dropping off now. But it does seem they're making us do all the work. I'm surprised these guys didn't work with us. Real shame, actually, because we could have gone to the end with Vendrame and Van der Poel. I guess they weren't quite feeling strong enough. We're just going to sit on Van der Poel's wheel and wait for a sprint. But now, 2k to go. Mullen has made it back on as the pace basically completely dies. We're coming into the final kilometre. Mullen is dead. Round these corners we go. We're going to sprint now with 1k to go. Moschetti going for the stage. Can we take it? We've got Dimension Data Gibbons on our left. So is Van der Poel. But we just about resist. Matteo Moschetti takes the stage win. A great result for the Italian, beating some strong riders. Now onto the penultimate stage of the race. As you can see, I've put Kirsch and Ryan Mullen in the breakaway. We really don't have any punchers in this race, so we're going to struggle very much on this stage. Mullen is currently in the polka dot jersey though, so we may as well try and retain it with him. I've put Kirsch in the breakaway to try and help him as well. They can drop back to help the other riders as the peloton close in on this breakaway later in the stage, but you can now see 30k to go. There's 5 men in the breakaway, 1 has attacked. Mullen's going to wait up here, and you can see 10 men in the peloton with 20k to go. That is Matthew van der Poel just behind Ryan Mullen. 11 riders now. You can see how select this group is though, and we're now actually in a very good position to perhaps compete for the stage and even the GC with Ryan Mullen of all people. We've got 11 riders here. Kirsch has now gone, and with 7k to go we do have attacks. Van der Poel attacks, trying to get away from these guys before we reach the final hills, with 6k to go. I'm unsure how to approach this with Mullen. You can see our yellow is very low after all the attacks going for the KOMs. Really strong ride by Mullen just to be still in the peloton at this point in the race. We're going to try and react to these guys, as I think that's Rudy Millard trying to attack Matthew van der Poel. And we're actually going to drop a few guys, and we're in the front 7 riders here. Matthew van der Poel is just ahead with Rudy Millard on his wheel. James Knox trying to close the gap. He's not quite strong enough. We're sat on Vendrame's wheel, who's now at AG2R for the next real life season. I think that's a good move for him. A very good young rider. And you can see we're going to try and stay with these guys, finish as strong as we can with Mullen. But as expected, Matthew van der Poel drops Millard, drops everyone else. He will take the stage win and the GC victory in the Belgium Tour. Mollard second, Vendrame third, and Ryan Mullen is going to hold on for a top 5 with Neil Ans and James Knox. What a result by the big Irishman. And so you can see the new GC standings. Matthew van der Poel on top, Ryan Mullen in 6th, just over a minute down on van der Poel. As we go into the final stage of the race, another flat stage for the sprinters and one more chance for Moschetti to pick up his 2nd stage win of the race. We've got Kirsch, Frame and Moschetti in the sprint train today, and actually Frame will lead out Moschetti in this one. He sprints now past Alex Kirsch, Moschetti into the final kilometre. Can we take it? We're in a good position. Vendrame on our right. But Matthew van der Poel, the king of Belgium at the moment, he takes another stage win. He is unstoppable and he has dominated this race. So guys, you can see the final standings. Van der Poel wins 39 seconds clear of Mollard, Vendrame 3rd, and Ryan Mullen was in 6th for us. A surprise result. I think he actually took home the polka dot jersey as well, and also that stage win. With a few podiums for Moschetti, we can be very happy with the 2 races today. So guys, I do hope you enjoyed something slightly different from me today. Much quicker pace video, much more results based. We're not focusing on who's in the breakaway and going into that much detail. I just wanted to try and power through a few races so we can get to the Tour de France and get back to those live comms. So let me know what you thought on this style video. I'm certainly not going to stick to it, I think, but perhaps the next video will be in this style as well. So let me know your thoughts, and if you enjoyed it, do drop a like, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.